Hey everyone, I'm diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. My symptoms started in adolescence. Like around my senior year of high school. I started showing symptoms before, like a little bit before my senior year in high school. I had problems in school and with my mood. And back then I was rejected by someone and ultimately ended up being hospitalized because I started self-injuring myself due to the condition, because I was simply rejected by a person. And my main triggers are fearing abandonment and getting rejected. I have high rejection sensitivity from this condition. So that's how it all began. Because borderline personality disorder causes me a tremendous amount of pain and suffering and agony, I have had, so say, spiritual experiences from the pain that I have gone through living with the condition. No, I don't have psychosis. I've had real spiritual enlightenment experiences because I have suffering. And when you suffer so much, it gets bad. And then you find ways to cope. And so I would drastically change and be more interested in spiritual related things, meditation, stuff like that, as a means to cope, spiritual related things. And I still do, since my last recent spiritual experience and spiritual crisis I had, and a BPD breakthrough or what have you, mental health crisis I had with it. Unfortunately, there is no FDA approved medication specifically to treat borderline personality disorder. None whatsoever. No specific medication. Borderline personality disorder is kind of like my other suspected condition, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, though that's a physical condition. But borderline personality disorder is kind of like that, and whereas you would have other comorbid mental health conditions, this means you have other co-occurring mental health conditions alongside with BPD. This is because of that. And those co-occurring conditions can often be effectively treated through medication and therapies for these other mental health conditions that come along with it. Like, for instance, I have borderline personality disorder co-occurring condition with bipolar 2 disorder, which is the mild form of hypomania that does not lead to hallucinations and psychosis, by the way. Or like other conditions I have is kind of like feelings of emptiness, depression, anxiety, impulsivity. Those other problems I have co-occurring with my borderline personality disorder will be managed with medication, and I do well on medication with it, and self-harming and self-destructive behavior. But there's no FDA approved medication alone to treat borderline personality disorder, and there is no cure. So Borderline personality disorder is a very serious and often life-threatening mental health condition. And this is just my experience with living with it and what I've had to go through. So yeah. As you can see here, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has not approved any medication specifically for treating borderline personality disorder. However, they have comorbid conditions which can be treated with medication. Currently, there is no FDA-approved medication specifically to treat BPD. These co-occurring conditions and medications prescribed for BPD are antidepressants, mood stabilizers, second-generation antipsychotics, propranolol, sedatives, sedative antipsychotics, and whatever that one is. But I think you kind of get the picture. So as I was saying, sadly, BPD is very, very misunderstood mental health condition. Very, very misunderstood. And also that it's just unfortunate that there's no medication specifically to treat BPD because it's a personality disorder. In fact, there's no medication at all for any of the personality disorders. But yeah. And you can't really judge a person's possible diagnosis just by the medications that they do take, because I'm on medications not specifically for borderline personality disorder. I'm on a antidepressant and the antipsychotic, even though I have a borderline personality disorder diagnosis. It doesn't mean I'm diagnosed with psychosis, being on an antipsychotic, because I'm not. And it doesn't mean I have a full diagnosis of depression just because I'm on an antidepressant medication. Those are just some few examples. However, it does help my impulsive behaviors, my sadness, my chronic feelings of emptiness, and self-harming behaviors. That would put me in the hospital, and, multiple times. I have a history of being hospitalized multiple times for the condition. And that's the truth. Two of them led to tremendous suffering, that I had a spiritual crisis along with it, a spiritual experience, or a spiritual awakening, enlightenment experience. So I turned to meditation, other spiritual related interests and stuff like that. Because of all the suffering it has caused me. And so I develop a closer relationship with the divine, or God, because of all the suffering I've had to endure living with the condition. And that's the background story that many people may not know, because I have a stigmatized mental health condition. It's like, who's going to believe you had a spiritual experience from it? Have a good one.